that hit me every time. Breaking news right here. I met Jason Hayward today, my guy, but go ahead, do your thing.
Oh, that's crazy, man. Yeah, we'll get into it. This is the wrap up with Scott and Todd, and this man's out here meeting superstars.
Dude, it's like become like a monthly occurrence now. Big Cat at the Cubs game, and now Jason Hayward. And just like it's been wild. Like I don't really want to say what I do, but I work in hospitality, and I was working at an event where it was a first birthday party. Strangely enough, this is not my first birthday party that I've actually worked at, where they're spending tens and tens of thousands of dollars on accoutrements for a fucking 1-year-old, mind you. So I'm like, oh, it's in Gold Coast, it's downtown, it's on a Sunday. Like, didn't think anything of it. And all of a sudden, this guy walks into the room, and like, I knew exactly. Like, I'm like, I've seen you before, sir. And then I had my one of my waitresses right next to me, and she was like, "Yo, is that anybody like famous? Like maybe a sports player?" And then he's like now like introducing himself. There's like a group of kids because like there's a lot of kids there. There's probably like 25 kids too. And he starts like shaking their hands and meeting them. He's introducing himself as Jason. Still, and I'm just like, wait a second. What's the last name on the paperwork? Can you check the last name on the paperwork? And she had the paperwork in her apron at the time, pulls it off, Hayward. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. That's 2016 Chicago Cub World Series champion Jason Hayward. He saved our fucking lives with that, during the rain delay, giving the speech to the players. Like, my last Cubs game before the one prior that I went to with Lizzie, the last Cubs game I went to before that, I actually watched a walk-off home run hit by Jason Hayward. So, like, it was fucking wild. And then I had to, like, I was shaking. I started getting really excited. And then at the end of the event, I just had this courage. I walked right up to him, fucking dabbed him up. I said, "Happy birthday, bro." Because it is also his birthday today. Today is August 9th. And it is also Jason Hayward's birthday. It is his daughter's first birthday and his birthday. The odds of that are fucking insane, by the way. Wife, an amazing, amazing person. And I'm just like, hey, man, can I get a picture real quick? Just steal a couple seconds from me? He's like, dude, yeah, no, I love that, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. And then he even created the backdrop for the photo. Like, we're taking everything down, but like, originally we were standing would have just been like a house scenery. Who cares? But Jason was like, let's turn this way, so at least there's some backdrop to our photo. And like, what a nice fucking guy, man.
That's
what
awesome.
A great family. His wife is just one of the best fucking people I've ever met. Our whole family was. Montenegro. She's from Montenegro, and her family, again, like nobody really knows that country. It's over there by Serbia and Albania, and it was just some of the nicest fucking people, man. Like, God, I love the Cubs.
That's awesome, man. That is crazy, though. I can't believe you're starting to just meet people, which is great. That sometimes that happens in the businesses you work at. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And I'm a gift of gab, man. I love to talk to people.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Like, if I'm on the clock, though, I'm not allowed to, so I gotta hold it in. That gives me more time to, think what I'm gonna say instead of just walking up to Tony Romo and telling him that I love him. That backfired. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That doesn't sound like good, He's
Yeah.
like, get away from me.
Yeah, basically what happened there. So.
All right, well, let's get into this MVP race then. You know what I mean, for MLB.
Yeah, hell yeah, guys! This is gonna be an episode here. By the way, we got a lot to cover this week. Welcome back, by the way. Love to see you if you're new here. This is our Sunday show, the wrap up. But I think we're gonna get solidified on what this really means. So yeah, the MVP race in. Well, let's just go and stick with the National League, obviously because of the Cubs. Pete Crow Armstrong, MVP, as we like to nickname him, and then Shohei Ohtani, again with the Dodgers, Mr. Dual Threat quarterback. He could pitch and he could hit. So the race is it's really hard to tell. It's kind of just started, really. PCA had a terrible first quarter of the season, and he had a pretty bad last year compared to hitting stats. His on-base percentage was very low last year. He did something with his mechanics as a swing, and he's just been lights out. Absolutely lights out. Looking at the numbers here, I just want to give you some hitting lines off the rip, because PCA doesn't pitch, okay? He does not throw the ball. So right now he's averaging a 286 batting average with 26 home runs and 71 RBIs. Now, on the other side of that, Ohtani, he is batting did I just fuck this up? He's batting a 292, so he's got a higher batting average.
Yeah,
slightly higher. Also 26 home runs, 71 RBIs.
Okay.
I mean, they're neck and neck when it comes to hitting.
They're close. Yeah, that's real close, yeah.
Neck and neck when it comes to hitting. So the
only problem is that Ohtani is a pitcher, so you got to sneak that in there as well, which that's going to be rough trying to overcome that. Unless PCA starts to really take off and get his numbers climbing above Ohtani's by quite a bit, I think the pitching's going to help Ohtani by quite a bit, man.
Well, and not only that, he's a good pitcher. It's not that he's like coming in
right.
as like a fifth-man rotation and getting like 4 or 5 ends on him. This guy's throwing 7 innings a game on average. And he's 8-2 on the season as a starting pitcher.
That's insane.
With an ERA of 1.79. That's more insane than the win-loss, actually. That's through 14 starts, my guy. He's averaging just a little under 2 runs per 9 innings pitched. Is an insane stat when you go out and hit the ball every game. Now, there's a difference, Todd. Do you think you know what that difference is?
I do not.
Defense.
Ah.
Ohtani does not play the field. He plays as a designated hitter. He never goes on the field. He doesn't have a position. PCA, Mr. MVP, tears up center field. He's broken records in center field due to plays and how often he makes them. He's the highest 5-star catch caliber player in MLB, and he'll break all of that for the rest of his fucking career here. He is phenomenal in the outfield. He is so fast. He also, check this stat out, 30 stolen bases on the season.
Damn.
We're just after All-Star break. So, like...
It's gonna be close, dude.
What do you do? You can't value one of those two things more than the other because they both help your team win games.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we have to... Do we come together? Can we figure that out? Is which one is actually the actual MVP of his team? Without Pete Crow-Armstrong on the Cubs, would they be lesser of a team without him? Absolutely they would be. However, the Dodgers, who we talked about last week with their being beefed up fucking franchise, they have players where they lost Ohtani. They still have a fucking MVP caliber. Somebody else will win the MVP on that team because that's how good of the players they have.
Yeah.
So that's where, baseball fans have to start questioning that shit.
Well, I'm going to throw my little 2 cents in here, and that's they got the broom out. Cubs got the broom out. Just
Swept
go
the
ahead.
Dodgers, my guy. Swept them.
Yeah.
Nobody saw that coming. Everybody's like, if you know what, the Cubs are not winning. We're losing in the division right now, so we would make a wild card, and then we would people are like, can they beat a team like the Dodgers? Yes, sir. 3 in a fucking row.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this is another part of the MVP race that I think is kind of I want my MVP player. I want him to be a deep thinker, somebody that has a thought behind him and is just out there and be like, well, I just got to go up on the plate and just look at the ball come in and just, get a good whack at it and eventually left the yard. No, I want my MVP to sit down on a podcast and be like, Babe Ruth didn't exist.
Jesus.
Be like, Pete, you're 24 years old, my guy. You're very young. But what are you talking about? Like, you kind of have, like, you have my interest. Now, Shohei doesn't speak English, so there's a little bit of a fucking problem there. So we're not really going to click. And he has guys that like to spend his money. However, PCA, being the lovable fucking character that he is in Chicago, he went on a podcast. And he said, this is going to be crazy. Babe Ruth never existed is one that I like. I hear it was a pitcher with the Mariners. Now, that was actually, yes, it was Mariners pitchers Tyler Sosadoo. It's a fucking weird last name. It's Sosadoo. Tyler Sosadoo. He's a pitcher for the Mariners. He was jokingly on a podcast, and somehow he brought up this theory of how Babe Ruth never existed. Well, Pete got a hold of this. Like, I think he did some, like he said now, talking about the Mariners pitcher, I think he did some podcast on Zoom where he was going down the rabbit hole with somebody about how Babe Ruth never existed. Pete goes on to say, we always talk about how the game is evolving. People might as well have been like underhanding the ball to the guy. Because, back then, they were not throwing 101 miles an hour. And Pete says, and he's regarded still as one of the best players ever. Might as well dive further into it and be like, well, maybe he just never existed.
Like, yeah. That's crazy, bro.
Pete, I love that for you. Like,
yeah.
And that's kind of like how conspiracy theories happen. Like, you hear something that's kind of funny, and then, like, he's kind of joking off, and you're just like, wait a second. There wasn't a lot of footage of Babe Ruth playing baseball. You would think a guy of that caliber would have a lot of goddamn video of him playing baseball. There's not a lot. So, again, long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago. But videos did exist, so I don't know. That's it's gonna tie us into something here, though, Todd. Conspiracy theories as a whole. I think this is kind of blowing up now, especially with the Gen Z population. They've been looking this up more, and I think that I've heard a lot more talks about other conspiracy theories, especially like aliens and shit like that. But like conspiracy theories are kind of like they're on the up and up. They're on a climb right now. So I feel like let's have some fun with this, my guy. Let's talk about two of our favorites sports conspiracy theories.
All right, well, let's roll with it then. What do you got? Do you have a person in mind? Because, I mean, I can go. You want me to go? It don't matter to me either way.
No, I got one. All right.
I
got one. Cal Ripken Jr. Cal Ripken Jr., very Hall of Fame baseball player, has the record for the most consecutive games started as a player, and he reached 2,632 games without missing a game. Todd, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
Okay. On August 14th, 1997, the Baltimore Orioles were scheduled to host the Seattle Mariners, talking about them. They were at Camden Yards. A bank of lights went out before the game, and they could not get this bank of lights to go back on. Players stayed out on the field. Players kept warming up, things like that. They just couldn't get shit going. Who was scheduled to pitch that night? Well, that was Mr. Randy Johnson. Mr. fucking Kill-a-Bird Randy Johnson. They could not resolve the issue. At 10 p.m. that night, I think it was a 3 o'clock. No, it might have been a 7 o'clock game. It was an afternoon or a late game. But at 10 p.m., the game was canceled by the umpires because they said the shadows were considered unsafe. And I think that really just had to do with Randy Johnson's pitching. It really probably, like, I cannot see that shit coming in. I need more fucking lights. So the game was then scheduled to be played the next day as a doubleheader. Now, why did Cal Ripken not play in that game? This is a conspiracy theory. It's got some legs. Cal Ripken came home before a game. He found his then wife, Kelly Ripken, in bed with famous A-list actor Kevin Costner. I mean,
I fucking can't.
Kevin Costner, out of all people, is I was just like, wait a second now. Again, you haven't lost my attention. Like, apparently, they got into a fist fight at Ripken's home. Ripken
That
then
man
had
was that man was in the
injured his
Field of
wrist,
Dreams.
beat the shit out of, yeah, he was in his Field of Dreams beating the shit out of Kevin Costner. Okay, that's what was happening. So therefore, the Orioles they've deliberately caused that failure to the lighting because there was crews that were apparently trying to work on it for hours and they couldn't figure it out. So, but then again, they played the next game. The next day, they played a doubleheader, and Ripken kept his streak alive. But it was not against Randy Johnson because Randy Johnson had already warmed up to play that game that night. So he will not be able to go the next day.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
It's a good one. That's a fucking good
Sorry,
one.
I just thought of the Field of Dreams thing. I had to say it. My bad. Yeah, man. So speaking of lights going out, man, one of the ones I was looking at, man, was the Ravens 49ers Super Bowl 2013, the Super Bowl 47.
The Harbaugh. The Harbaugh.
Yeah. So the game was 21-6.
This was the two brothers, Jim
going
Harbaugh
into halftime.
and John Harbaugh.
Yeah, they came out of halftime, and Jacoby Jones does a 108-yard kick return, and shortly after that, because then they went up 28-6. Shortly after that, lights were gone, half the stadium out. So they
I think
even
it was Levi
walkways.
Stadium at the time, if I'm not mistaken.
What's that?
I think it was Levi Stadium at the time.
Yeah. Well, no, it was the Superdome. Well, is that what it's called, Levi Stadium? Because I don't know the actual name of it.
Was it not in San Francisco?
No, this was at the Superdome. This is Super Bowl 47.
You're right. My bad. I was thinking a different game.
Yeah. But it's fine. So after the kickoff happened, it's 28-6. The lights go out for 34 minutes, dude, and they finally got it to come back on. And the 49ers then went on a 17-0, score to nothing stretch, catching them back up, basically putting them back in the game. And they didn't ultimately end up winning it, which in conspiracy, if they would have won it, then it really does look like a conspiracy. But
Didn't
since
they
the
not
Ravens
have a
still
chance, like at the end?
well, the score was 34-31 at the end, so I'm sure there was an opportunity for them.
I don't remember that far back, but I think there might have been.
Yeah, I can't remember that far back either. I just thought that was a crazy thing that happened, that they were getting blown the hell out and the lights go off and all of a sudden the team starts marching back. That's kind of strange, but
a little break in progression, you know what I mean? Just like they manually changed momentum. Is kind of what the conspiracy is.
Yeah. Well, speaking of breaks, there was another person that had a little break in his career, and that's none other than Mr. Michael Jordan. So the conspiracy on him is that he basically got suspended for a gambling situation, is what the conspiracy is.
It was after he won the first 3 titles.
Yeah, after he won the first 3 titles in 1993, he got suspended because of a gambling problem. They told him to basically quit, and he basically wouldn't. So they told him he's suspended. But it was really quiet. So apparently,
but he retired.
They retire. So he retired instead to make it seem like really he got suspended, but he said, "I'm retiring."
Right. He went to baseball to stay relevant.
He went to baseball. But in that same kind of conflict is the fact that his dad had passed away too because of him getting killed. So the thing is that maybe he owed somebody money, and they ended up killing his dad because he wasn't paying them. Yep. And so that's the whole thing with the MJ situation, which, I mean, he did like to gamble, though.
He does like to gamble, not did.
Yeah, he loves to gamble. So you never know, dude. That could be a very likely scenario, man. Yeah. And it's crazy to think that, like, actually, me and Josh had talked about this a little bit on the phone, and it's, can you imagine if Mike never left? Like, if he didn't do that, if this is real and he did get suspended, but let's say that didn't happen, right? How many consecutive championships would this dude have? You know what I'm saying? Because he left and then came back and won 3 more. Now, I think he was gone for 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. So, I'm just saying, like, would it have been 8 straight championships, or I mean, I'm just curious on what that would have looked like.
Shit. Well, he came back and won 3 more.
Right, but if he would have never left, he won 3 already. So I'm just saying, do you
Oh,
think he
you're just saying
continued
it
that
would have been
stretch?
just consecutive sweep after sweep after sweep.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think he wins just 6 in a row, or even more, or do you think like there would have to be some kind
Yeah,
of a break in there?
probably.
Dude, I
Yeah.
think he wins consecutively. I don't think it stops until he wants until they tear apart the team like they did. So
I accidentally fucking lost my last one. I
you
can't.
what?
I deleted it. Uh, it was LeBron James was the last one, and how Delonte West. So during the conference finals, I can't remember what year it was. I don't have that date, but it was against the Boston Celtics, and this was LeBron's last year. So I'm gonna have to just try to free bases because I accidentally deleted it on here. So whatever. It was his last year in Cleveland. It was the year before he announced that he was going to take his talents to South Beach. Rumor and conspiracy has it that LeBron just looked like he gave up in that towards it was game 4 of that series against the Celtics. The second that started happening, there was inside sources that were saying that LeBron James is playing like this because he found out his mother was having an affair with his then teammate Delonte West. Your player, your boy is fucking
Slamming your mom.
just going to town.
Dude, I don't know if I could handle playing either. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be wild, bro. Like that would be crazy.
Well, what's so funny about like a lot like if you look into this conspiracy again, I wish I fucking accidentally deleted. There was other MVP players. There was even a Hall of Famer. I can't remember his name, but he came out in a podcast and said like, no, like these facts kind of back up. Like what happened? LeBron's lawyer then put out cease and desists against ESPN and actual people civilly in general, person to person, like getting served, and like that also screams like that might have happened. Like
Yeah.
so yeah, we got some MILF fucking going on. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot of conspiracies out there. I'm sure we'll get touch base with some other ones down the road here. But let's get into a little bit of Bears talk, man. You know what I'm saying? We touched on it on Wednesday about Swift is his contract is up this year, and me and Josh said we weren't sure if they were going to re-sign him or not. There's I don't know. That's a tough question because I mean, you got Monangai back there, but I don't know if he can handle being your starter. And I don't know if, like, Ben Johnson wants him. So, there's
Do we
free
want him?
agents that we want him.
Do we want him?
I don't know. I don't mind Swift. He showed a lot more last year than he did the year before, or the years before, I should even say. Like, so, I mean, you kind of want to keep him, but at the same time, I also think, man, like, I don't know if that's your typical, the running back that he envisions working with. I just don't, because even Ben Johnson said, like, he hasn't really, like, said anything really like that, like, oh, I want him, he's a great back. I don't know, he just didn't sound like praising him, like he's his guy, you know what I mean? Like, to me, he came here for Caleb, and he went and got Luther, he went and got Colston, so I think he's forming his guys at this point on offense. So I just think that at this point, running back's next. I do not think he sits there and stays with Swift after this year. I don't think they sign him. I think they let him go, and there are some free agents, but I just don't think there's any big name. None that you would be like, damn, let's go grab this guy in free agency if they hit the market. But I think they probably draft another one. And maybe they just use Monangai as their starting back for a short period of time until they get the new one acclimated. But if they can find somebody like Gibbs, maybe not Gibbs like exactly like that, but Gibbs is a monster. He's fast as fuck, dude, and I would love to have Gibbs as my running back. So if they can go out and find that in this next draft, I'm down.
Yeah. Well, just circle back real quick to Swift. Now, when we got Swift, he was they were running almost like an A gap running back, and he's not an A gap. He's 5'8" or some bullshit. Like the guy's tiny. With Ben Johnson, like you said last year, he had a pretty fucking better year than we expected.
Yeah.
So, do we keep Swift as more as that like specialty back, and then sign and like we go out and find like an A gap runner, or do you want somebody that's totally so you guys made a great point on the podcast on Wednesday that like Ben's got his guy as quarterback. And that's one of the main reasons that he came to Chicago was because of Caleb. And Caleb is he is your number one. He's so special and so accumulated to Ben Johnson's offense, it's almost made up. So it's just like, how is having a running back that same kind of level, is that an importance, or could you have like a dual running back situation?
Personally, I think, I think he's going to do dual regardless. That's why I think this year he's going to use Monangai a little bit more than he did last year. I mean, obviously he was putting Monangai in there quite a bit, but I think it'll be even more this year. Swift got his first 1,000 yards in I think a couple of years, if I'm not mistaken, last year. But my thing is like this is Swift's final year, and if you look at the contracts that have been given out to Gibbs, Bijan Robinson got paid. Who the fuck's the other guy? Jonathan Taylor just got fucking paid.
Yeah.
All those guys, you're now saying, okay, Swift's got to be up there in that market. Maybe not crossing those guys, but you're going to have to pay a shit ton to this running back, and I just don't think he's worth it. He's not on the level as those guys. He's just not. So I think they do move off of him. I don't think they pay him. Unless he's
there's no free agent market, it would have to be via trade. So you're going to trade away Swift. It's really hard to go running back on a trade.
No, you're not trading away Swift. You're not trading away Swift. You're going to let him play this year, and then he's gone. He'll hit free agency, like he did. So now you're just basically going to say no matter what, we're drafting a guy, and that's just what it's going to be.
I think we need to go through a trade.
Well, I don't think you can. Why would you? You can just use Swift for this year. Why would you need to go for a trade?
Get rid of Jalen Johnson. You can get a real good running back for that price.
I don't think you're going to get rid of Jalen either this year because his contract runs through 28 or whatever. So I think you got him for a little bit longer. And I'm sure you want to see what you have in him to see if he is that dude as your corner. And obviously you still have Tyreek Stevenson you're going to have to pay. And then you have Kyler Gordon, who's constantly injured. Yep. The fucking Bears team is getting absolutely fucking riddled right now. So they've been making moves. They've been bringing people in. They
just went down today, Burden.
Burden went down, yes, and so did Xavier Thomas went down too. So 2 wide receivers have gone down now. So, it's getting and their injuries didn't look horrible. Burden's got a groin injury, so we don't know the timeline on that. I'm just praying it wasn't like a Jalen Johnson where he got fucking fucked. Jalen Johnson got hurt bad on his groin, so hopefully it's just a minor issue that takes maybe 4 weeks or something so he can start the season at least.
Just stop fucking for a little bit during training camp, boys. Like, calm it down.
Don't go home and fucking get blasted on.
But then, so like you said, we got players to play. Caleb's contract is going to be coming up here very fucking fast, where that rookie contract's going to be over with, and he might be one of the highest, if not the highest quarterback paid in the league at that time when it happens, depending on the outcome of this season.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and even that is kind of something that's a really big deal because if I'm Ryan Poles and company, I'm wanting to sign him before Bo Nix and Drake May and these other QBs that have been making the playoffs. You got to sign them before those guys because you want to set the market, not be the one chasing the market. Because if these other guys do good and Caleb does good and they get paid first, Caleb's going to want over those guys. Correct. Regardless of what you say. I know people say, oh, maybe he'll take a pay cut. I doubt it, dude. That's just the way QBs are.
Is Caleb... it's not the player, it's the agent. So it's just like that's a scary thought process too. But like, can you convince the player to convince the agent to take the pay cut and be like, you know what, we are a Super Bowl fucking winning maybe or a Super Bowl caliber team.
Yeah, yeah.
And I want to stay on this motherfucker. I'm beloved
Right.
here in this city. Why, like, you know?
Okay, I
I
get
don't
where
want
you're
to
going
ruin my
from.
chances to win games just because I'm going to make 20 million more than the quarterback below me. To them, at that point, and we're talking, and that's nothing. That's like $100 bill.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not massive. I just think that you still want to get out ahead of it if possible. That's my only thing.
Yeah.
I would almost, just so that you're not paying them as much. It just, I mean, yeah,
Right.
you're trying to save as much money as you can for the other players on your team as well that you're going to have to sign. So
I could see $200 million. I'm not even lying to you.
well, it's going to be way over that, my guy. He's probably going to make probably in the neighborhood of $50 to $60 million a year for 6 years, probably
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
That's my guess. I
Or
don't
you
really.
sign instead of doing that sick. Oh no, because if you sign less years, it's actually more per year. Fuck yeah, yeah. It's probably gonna be the biggest contract for quarterback. So
Yeah.
now the running back situation kind of falls out the table there too. Something I don't know. It's a scary thought. What's coming up with contracts?
Yeah, yeah,
But you have Tyson as a backup.
yeah, yeah. And let's talk about Tyson, man. I
You could
thought we
trade.
could.
Tyson's got value. Tyson's
Yeah.
got trade value up the ass.
Yeah,
Probably the backup in the league. Well, I'm not going to say that, but top five backups in the league. Top 10, 100%. Top 5 might be close, but I put him in the top 10 backup in the league.
yeah. I would say so, dude. He's probably better than that. I think he could start in some places. So saying backup, I don't think is actually accurate. I think he could probably start for some teams.
I think he'd start for a lot of teams. Todd, let's just run through. I think is a good exercise. Tyson Bagent's trade value. Let's keep a tally. All right, real quick. We're going to go through the starting quarterbacks of the NFL. We're going to do a speed round here. Okay, can Tyson Bagent start over this quarterback? Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to start with the AFC. We're just going to list these off. All right, Josh Allen, no. Malik Willis. Yeah.
No.
Yes.
You're saying he could start over those guys? Yeah.
See? Yeah, I think he'd start over Malik. I'm going
Yeah.
yes on that one. Drake May.
No.
No. Geno Smith.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Starting over Geno. Lamar, obviously not. Burrow,
No.
not. Watson, not. Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
All right. Going with the Rudolph. CJ Stroud, not. Daniel Jones in Indianapolis. That's a tough one.
No.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think
either.
so. He was really good until he got hurt.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence, no. Cam Ward, no. Bo Nix, no. Mahomes, no. Herbert, no. Cousins, no. All right. Moving on to the NFC. Prescott, no. Jackson Dart, no. Jalen Hurts, no. Jay Daniels, no. Caleb, obviously, no, because he is the backup. Jared Goff, no. Jordan Love, no. Kyler Murray? I say no.
Are you saying he can't start over Kyler?
No.
I don't think so either. I'd say no to that.
Penix?
Possibly.
Remember, that's Atlanta now. Michael Penix is the starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. Well, maybe. Because they also have Tua Tagovailoa and Reno.
Is there any
Let's
chance?
give that. We'll give that one like a half. We'll give it a half. Bryce Young, no. Tyler Show,
Tyler Shuck from the
Shuck?
Saints.
Tyler Shuck.
I don't know. He showed a lot last year. I would still say maybe. That's a maybe. That's for sure maybe.